Mudd. A fan of South Plains politics? Here's your talking points for this week. Yet another change at the top of the Lubbock County Medical Examiner's office. A look at what happened and where they go from here. And what does Lubbock's mayor do now with coronavirus cases still rising here? Dan Pope answers your questions.
From the studios of KAMC Television in Lubbock, your local election headquarters. This is Talking Points with Bryan Mudd.
And thanks for joining us, everybody. Also this week, Murphy's Law. No matter your politics, we can all agree that anything weird that can happen will happen in 2020. Take this week's local election for justice of the 7th Court of Appeals. Remember, the incumbent Lubbock's Larry Doss trailed Amarillo's Stephen Denny after Super Tuesday, but the race was left off the ballot in 2 counties, so we had a do-over. Now this week, Amarillo had a congressional race on their ballot, not so in Lubbock, so one would think Denny might have had an edge in the number of folks actually interested in voting, but not so. About 34,000 fewer voters cast, but Doss campaigned hard in places like Randall County, which he won, and ended up staying in his job with the 7th Court. The moral of the story, if you work hard, meet people, and those people show up to vote, you win. We also saw that with the local judge race for the 99th District Court. Our super unscientific polling had this race with Philip Hayes and Kara Darnell as very close, but Judge Hayes' supporters voted, and that was the difference for the former county court judge, who now has an even bigger job waiting for him, replacing Judge Bill Souter.
We are feeling terrific. We've had a great day. We've had a great several last few weeks on the campaign, and today the voters, I think they spoke today, and we're very pleased with what they've decided.
We've talked about this a lot. You know, polling can sometimes fool you. We found that out with President Trump in 2016, when a lot of political watchers failed to notice that a lot of his supporters will never answer the phone for a polling company. Regardless, the new Dallas Morning News poll got a lot of interest, showing Joe Biden with a 5-point lead here in Texas. Now, I caution you to take that with a grain of salt, but Texas Democrats are using it as more motivation to work, and that includes here in conservative West Texas, as our Olivia Whitehead discovered.
Texas is typically a red state and hasn't voted democratically since Jimmy Carter in 1976, something Lubbock County Democratic Party Chair Grace Gomez is optimistic about.
I think people are very alarmed and concerned with the current state of affairs under the leadership, not only on a national level, but at a state level. And I think people are ready for some changes, some good positive changes to start bringing this country back around.
However, due to the coronavirus pandemic, Lubbock County Republican Party Chair Steve Evans says the Republican campaigns have been delayed.
We're trying to find new ways to reach voters through social media, through electronic means, and I think you'll see a large ramp up starting probably as early as next week as we get past the Republican Party convention and really get into November campaign mode.
Both parties now rely on digital platforms, something Biden has been pushing in Texas.
The ads and the online presence are going to be key to reaching voters.
Evans says that there is a massive effort from the Republican Party to register voters, which will play a huge role this year.
So that is really going to be I think the determining factor is getting people registered to vote and getting people to turn out, especially on an election when it's people are going to have tremendous fatigue.
Olivia Whitehead, KLBK News.
That's our Olivia Whitehead reporting. We are always thrilled when Lubbock Mayor Dan Pope can spare a few minutes for us. It's good to see you, my friend.
It's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
I wanted to make this chat a lot about what some people have been talking about. We took some viewer questions here. We've just gone through a week of fresh rumors about the governor and it's set to order another non-essential lockdown and things like that. Tell me, as we sit here, nothing, of course, but what are we hearing from Austin about what they're talking about and what may happen or not happen?
Well, I personally believe from my conversations that the governor is going to let the face covering order season a bit. It's only been 2 weeks. I believe the wind is sort of turned to the backs of the face covering movement around the country. Walmart just this week announced Kroger announced nationwide.
Target and CVS.
Target, CVS, Kohl's, Best Buy, Circuit City. I date myself. Best Buy, Starbucks was already there. I would imagine that I know there's others coming. So I think the science continues to get more convincing about the value of that, and I can't imagine that he is going to shut things down.
Yeah.
We've got to find a way to coexist with this.
Do you, the council, the city manager, have the authority to institute your own shutdown if for whatever reason the COVID situation gets even worse?
Well, we do by the charter. However, the fact that the governor has taken over at a statewide level would make that a bit tenuous. I would say that the fact that we're under his emergency order right now it trumps what we would do,
right.
and then we're not considering that. I think it's important. I know that was a hypothetical. We are not considering that. Brian, we've got to find a way to live our lives safely with COVID-19, because it's not going anywhere.
Right.
This is not a August, September, October. We think realistically a mass production of an effective vaccine is best case first quarter. Can we get to a bit more herd immunity by then? Maybe so. But I think that's maybe my message, at least personally what I've felt in the last 10 days is we're in this for the long haul, and I'm trying to make sure that that's something we talk about.
Masks, I know, were an issue again, brought up at your ice cream event earlier in the week. A lot of people say, look, we're wearing these things and the numbers still go up. And everybody on Facebook has seen something from somebody that says they're not that effective anyway. Where do you get your information that says wearing these is the best thing, and why do you trust them?
Well, I think I'm looking for a sort of a preponderance of evidence. So I'm going to read studies, and I have physician friends, hospital CEOs that are sending me, medical papers that frankly I'm reading the executive summary, but that's about all I can
Sure.
get through. But I do trust the CDC. I think that they early on debated and even sort of down-talked the value of a face covering. That's continued. They've gone completely 180, and they continue to strengthen that. In fact, there was a study, I believe, published in the Journal of American Medicine just within the last week that even bolsters that a bit more. It's not perfect.
Right.
In fact, we want some community spread. I mean, that's a bit of that is natural, and that's not all bad. What we want to protect our vulnerable populations, and we want to make sure our hospitals are strong. Not only so they can take care of you and me or our families if something emergent happens, but we need those hospitals doing non-essential surgeries. Think about it for a minute.
They need the money.
11,000 Lubbockites work at UMC or Covenant. Multiply that, 2.5 times by the businesses that rely on those jobs?
Oh, yeah.
It's a huge part. We have 165, 70,000 people in our workforce. I can quickly get to 25% of it related to that. That's where that put in the Health Science Center is. So they need to be strong. We need to do common sense things with the best information we have today. And today, that tells us that face coverings matter, and that's why it's important.
We got a lot of questions about your plan to open schools, and that's essentially a state-level decision here, right?
Yeah, it's not our plan.
Right.
It's first and foremost, it's the Texas Education Agency, certainly working with the governor's office, and then that responsibility is with your local school boards. It's with your superintendents and their leadership team and school boards. There have been a few cities around the state that have worked with their school boards to adjust school start to after Labor Day.
Right.
I don't think we've not had those discussions.
Do you have the authority, the city or the local health authority even, to make those decisions for your schools and to say you must wait because this is happening?
The Public Health Authority does, I believe.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Anything new on visitation possibilities for nursing homes?
That's probably the toughest discussion in this whole, other than the families that have lost loved ones. I think our senior facilities where we have family members that we're not able to see face to face. I don't think I don't sense any change anytime soon. As you saw,
Sure.
we had another nursing home incident within the last week. We feel there's only two ways it could happen. One, a patient that might have brought it in, but much more likely an employee that was exposed, or employees that were exposed and brought it in. And so we know that's how the spread most often happens. And we'll continue to talk about it. I think you've talked to Judge Parrish, and nobody has a better story than he does. His mother and mother-in-law are in two separate local facilities, and we talk a lot about it. I answer a lot of emails about it, but right now I think we're going to stay the course.
I want to talk some city business before you go.
Sure.
Will you sit for another segment with us?
Love to, yeah.
And so coming up, more of Tuesday night's runoff election results and more of your questions for the mayor. City business continuing through the pandemic, but how many plans will have to change for safety and money reasons? We'll find out next on Talking Points.
Hi, I'm Mike with